How do we go about getting started with BPM? I mean, what is it that we have to do? What are the nuts and bolts? What is that framework that we need? Sure, we have a platform, we have a concept, but what do we get our hands on to get launched into the entire BPM rocket, if you want to put it that way? So if you look at the slide itself, right at the start, you have to figure out where you are as a business, where your problem is, what is it that you are trying to achieve. And in any given process, it's not enough for one person or one stakeholder to define the entire scope of the problem and the solution. What you need is to put a think tank of subject matter experts, business process owners, and IT staff to understand the process gaps before finalizing the BPM goals. And this could also be a consultative role which is played by the BPM vendor itself. Expand BPM to build your business. BPM can be used to solve a particular problem. BPM can be used to solve multiple problems. BPM, in the best scenario, is used to actually build your business. Think bigger with regards to your BPM software. Look at extending BPM throughout your value chain to tap new revenue streams. Look at BPM not just from a single product perspective, but look at a product that has SOA capabilities, that has the abilities to consume web services, and that has out-of-the-box connectors and adapters that allow the organization to leverage the IT investments of existing technology. One example would be ERP. You're also, again, looking at not putting a limit on process improvements. So yes, processes can get more efficient, but hey, what about return on investment? What about actual revenue stream? What about process optimization at a broader level? All of those things have to be taken into consideration when you are looking at a BPM product to supplement your BPM initiatives. At the end of the day, all your BPM efforts should be customer-centric. There should be clearly defined goals that make a customer who is involved in the BPM result itself, they should get what they are looking for. A BPM implementation should always be tightly scoped right from the start to the finish. You have clearly defined goals, you have clearly defined measurements, and a proof of concept will go a long way in getting you to the right solution. BPM metrics play a huge role in the business process management practice itself. I mean, take a look at what John Dixon, Gartner analyst, said. No measures means no results, which means no justification, and ultimately no sustained improvement. I think what we have to look at is what are the best practices in BPM. In a nutshell, what you see on the right, the focus on outcomes. What is it that we are trying to achieve? Measure the results that are delivered, not the steps that are taken. Identify the most valuable contributions. Make sure that all stakeholders concur on the definition of a good outcome. Focus. Don't scatter your efforts. Use just 2 or 3 matrices that have the greatest impact. It's hard to prove how far you've come without knowing where you started. Establish an accurate, relevant baseline. Let me give you an example. Instead of just saying, improve customer service or improve customer service, set a specific goal and a timeline for meeting it. Make sure that everyone understands these objectives and make sure that there are measurements in place to measure performance towards achieving that goal. Once we have a strategy in place, we have to link it to the process benefits itself. There are visibly measured benefits. What are they, you might ask? Well, visibility and action on choke points for process efficiency. When we define a process, we can see bottlenecks, we can see problems that occur via reporting mechanisms. What are the action steps that we are going to take to resolve those problems? How accurately is work getting done? Sure, work is being done all the time, but how much of that is erroneous? How much of that is accurate? How much of that is timely? Everything can be pulled up. Everything can be analyzed in a clearly defined BPM process. Is one of your employees doing all the work, and is the other guy not doing anything much at all? Well, BPM is the answer for that. You can pull out reports on an individual employee level and see who is slacking off and who is performing. Information is key. It's always available to prioritize projects. You can go ahead and get improved response times to your customers, to your internal participants in a BPM process because you have escalation capabilities. For example, if someone is on leave, a task can get assigned to someone else who can pick it up, run with it, execute it, and turn it around in the same time that the original participant would have done.